to sine, and then parentheses, 2x plus pi over 3, close the parentheses, minus 1. Okay. Now this minus 1, let's start with that. Normally, we mention C first. Okay? But here, could this be C? The C value where it shifts. Now is this going to shift up 1 or down 1? Down. It's going to shift down 1, right.
So it doesn't matter where C is.
That's right, it doesn't matter. But, you know, so this would be equivalent to what we've seen before as -1 plus sine 2x plus pi over 3.
What
Okay.
if the parentheses weren't there?
What's that?
What if the parentheses weren't there?
You mean if it was just like this?
Yeah, minus 1.
Oh, well, now that would be something else, because now this would be, now you've got two C values, you can't have that, right? What if it was, in other words, what if it was just that?
Yeah.
Yeah, now we're shifting up pi over 3.
Right.
Yeah. Okay? So, good question there.
I'm not going to see anything like that. But
No.
okay.
No. Not for these problems, not for the ones we're doing. Okay? Okay. Now, we got another problem here. So we know it shifts down 1. All right, another thing is, what about this 2 here? Got to factor it out, right? Well, there's a problem here. Can we factor, do we have a common factor of 2 here? We don't, right? So we need to multiply what to get a common factor of 2 here and here? 2 over 2, right. We've got to multiply 2 over 2 here. Okay, so we've got y equals to sine. Now we can factor the 2 out, and that leaves us with x plus pi over what? 6 minus 1. Okay? So we have, it shifts down 1. The 2, what's this?
K.
Our k, right? That means if k equals 2, that means our period must be what? Pi, right, because this will be 2 pi over 2, okay? And this plus 6 here, the plus pi over 6, right? What does that tell us? It's going to shift left. Good. Left by how much? Pi over 6. Okay, this would be equivalent to a parabola. Y equals to x plus, let's say, 3, close parentheses squared minus 1, right? Where it shifts down 1 and to the left 3, right? Well, this one's going to shift down 1 and to the left pi over 6. Okay, so that's one way to kind of look at that. All right, so here we have our y equals to sine x before any transformations, right? And this is 1 and -1 here. And we're talking about sine here. So, and this is another reason why you want to start off with the basic graph, because on the test I've seen students graph cosine instead of sine, or you know, some other graph other than what they should be graphing. So that's another reason to do this first. So we're looking at pi over 2 pi, 3 pi over 2, 2 pi. Okay, so here's our 0 over k, and we've got pi over 2 times k, pi over k, 3 pi over 2 times k, 2 pi over k. And we said that k equals 2. Okay, so here's 0 over 2, that's just 0. We got pi over 2 times 2, that'd be pi over 4. And then here this will be pi over 2. And then 3 pi over 2 times 2, right? So that'd be 3 pi over 4. And then 2 pi over 2, so that'll be pi. Okay, and that matches our period that we said that we would have. Okay, so now these increments are going to be at 0 pi over 4, right? And pi over 2, 3 pi over 4, and pi. So now we need to, since we're shifting, we said that we're shifting to the left by pi over 6, are we going to add or subtract by pi over 6? Okay, are we going to add or subtract here? Subtract, because we're shifting left. Okay, and we're also going to shift down 1, right? Okay, so here's, let me make this a little bit bigger here. Here's -1. Like we said, our amplitude is at amplitude is 1, right? So here's -1, here's -2. We're shifting down 1. So now instead of our center of where our graph shifts up and down from, instead of being at 0, now it's going to shift up and down from where?
-1.
From -1. So we want to draw like an imaginary line there. And now it's going to shift up and down. It's going to oscillate back and forth between 0 and -2. And so since it's going to, we're going to subtract, we're going to start at -pi over 6. So here's a -pi over 6. And then it's going to go up to 0. But now we have to subtract pi over 6 here. And so we need a common denominator, which is going to be what? 12, right? So we're going to multiply what here? 3 over 3 and 2 over 2 here. So this will be 3 pi over 12 minus 2 pi over 12. So we get just pi over 12, right? And that's a positive pi over 12. So that'll be just past 0. So we start here at pi over 6, and we're going to peak at pi over 12. Okay, just like we peaked up here at pi over 4. Alright, so now we're going to, what are we going to do in this next step?
Subtract pi over 6.
Subtract pi over 6 again. And so we got to multiply 3 over 3 here. So we get 3 pi over 6 minus pi over 6. So we get 2 pi over 6. And that simplifies to what? Pi over 3. So now this comes down here, instead of at pi over 2, it comes down at pi over 3. And let's see what the next increment is going to be at. So now we're going to subtract, here we're at 3 pi over 4, right? And we're going to subtract pi over 6 again. So we need a common denominator of 12. So this will be 3 over 3 2 over 2. And so we get 9 pi over 12 minus 2 pi over 12. And we get 9 minus 2 is what? 7 pi over 12. Okay, so now we're here at 7 pi over 12. And then let's see where we're going to end up. So now we have to subtract pi over 6, right? So pi, this is like 6 pi over 6 here. So 6 minus 1 pi, 6 pi minus 1 pi is what? What do we get here?
5 pi over 6.
5.